Stepping up to the couch, it's Brian, who led the league last season in cracked screens. But with his new athletic case, it looks like that won't be the case. Touchdown, Brian!
Yo! What is up, guys? It's me, Zackley. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. And today we sort of got to do a recap of everything that went on in the NBA over the last 2 or 3 days. So that being said, we definitely don't want to waste any more time. Let's just get right into it. And for our first story of the day, it seems like there might be a team out there that is willing to take a chance on adding Jabari Parker to their roster. Now this comes after he got reports out last week saying the Chicago Bulls are pretty much giving up on the Jabari Parker experiment, that he's no longer going to be part of their regular rotation, and he has been benched since then. And now we are getting reports that the Utah Jazz are interested in trading for Jabari Parker. And this report comes to us from Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer, as he published an article over the weekend that said this: the Utah Jazz are one of the teams interested in Parker. According to multiple league sources, Derek Favors is an awkward fit next to center Rudy Gobert, and his $16.9 million on the books next season is non-guaranteed, meaning that he could be one of the pieces involved. Now he also did go on to say that if Derek Favors is part of the deal, that a deal won't be able to be done until January 15th, as that is when Derek Favors will be eligible to be traded. All of that being said though, the Utah Jazz could be a great fit for Jabari Parker, since the main problem with Jabari Parker is his non-existent defense. And putting him on the Utah Jazz, who are a great defensive team, could help to hide his defensive shortcomings. While at the same time, the Jazz, who very much struggle on the offensive end, could for sure use Jabari Parker's ability to score the ball. Not to mention that this move for the Utah Jazz will be a very low risk move, since right now they are in 13th place in the Western Conference. And if they don't make a move this year, they very well could end up missing the playoffs, which would be a huge disappointment considering the expectation that we had for them coming into the season. And worst comes to worst, if things don't work out with Jabari Parker and the Utah Jazz trade for him and still don't make the playoffs, then they are not obligated to bring him back next year, since the second year of his contract is not guaranteed, just like Derek Favors. Next up though, we got some pretty good news for any New York Knicks fans out there, as the owner of the New York Knicks, James Dolan, who is infamously known for skipping out on the 2017 NBA draft to go play with his band, has admitted that he is open to the idea of selling the team. As when he was asked about the possibility of selling the New York Knicks franchise yesterday, this is how he responded: "Hear numbers all the time. I think people have sent feelers out, but never any that were pursued. They were feelers around the number $5 billion, but those things, it's like a stock price. It's only important if you're going to buy or sell." And then he later went on to vaguely say that he doesn't want to sell, that he's not necessarily looking to sell, but it's not like he wouldn't be willing to sell. And if an offer comes along that's good enough and that the rest of the shareholders of the New York Knicks agree with, that he would for sure be willing to sell the team. James Dolan was very vague in his response there, but from the sound of things, he basically said, look, if we get an offer that I like and that the rest of the shareholders like, then sure, anyone can have the New York Knicks, but that hasn't happened just yet. We've gotten feelers out, like I said, $5 billion. No one's made a serious offer yet. And honestly, LeBron James has expressed time and time again his interest in owning an NBA team once his career playing is all said and done. And if no one's bought the New York Knicks by the time LeBron James retires, I wouldn't be surprised if we did start seeing LeBron James looking into buying the New York Knicks. That's if he's unable to convince Dan Gilbert to sell him the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now for the topic I know a lot of Toronto Raptors fans were just waiting for me to touch on today. As after the shorthanded Raptors lost to the shorthanded Denver Nuggets last night, by the way, Denver is still the #1 seed in the Western Conference despite all the injuries that they have suffered. That is beyond impressive. Anyways, after Toronto lost to them last night, head coach of the Toronto Raptors, Nick Nurse, wasn't happy at all, as he called out the officials for letting the opposing teams getting away with being overly physical when defending Kawhi Leonard, lamenting the fact that before the final minutes of last night's game, Kawhi Leonard had only attempted 2 free throws despite how aggressive he was, and then he only had 4 for the game, 2 of which came in the garbage time, which really didn't matter. And once again, that's despite how much Kawhi Leonard was attacking the rim last night.
Ones that were hitting, holding, cutting, grabbing, clutching, hitting.
They were pretty physical.
Well, you can't tell me that one of the best players in the league takes 100 hits in that game and shoots 4 free throws, and they handed him 2 for charity at the end. So he was going to have 2 free throws for the game with all the physical hits and holding and driving and chucking and doubling and slapping and reaching and all the stuff. But it's been going on all year. I do not understand why they are letting everybody play one of the best players in the league so physically. I do not understand it.
And after that, Kawhi Leonard was asked whether or not he agrees with Nick Nurse's assessment on teams and players allowed to be over physical when guarding him, and this is what he had to say.
It's been like that all year, but you know, in this era, and how the game is and the rules are today, yes, I feel like I agree with him. It's been very physical, but I'll just go with the next play. It only could get me ready for, you know, what's to come, and just pride myself and just keep moving and keep going.
Look, if anything, I'd say that the NBA referees are inconsistent with how they allow defenders to play Kawhi. It's not like this happens every single game. Heck, I wouldn't even say it's the norm that Kawhi Leonard only gets to the free throw line 2, 3, or 4 times. On the year so far, he's averaging around 7 attempts per game, which is right up there with other elite players in the league such as LeBron James, and even higher than other stars such as Paul George and Russell Westbrook. And if anything, I'd say that this is a league-wide thing more than just a Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors thing, where some nights refs just don't feel like blowing the whistle, I suppose, and then other nights, I guess they just like the sound of the whistle so much that they continue to blow it. But the problem is when the refs are as inconsistent as they have been, it leads to players, coaches, and even the fans being confused and frustrated. Since one night a player or a team might get calls that they always get, and then the other night they might not get those calls anymore even though the same exact thing is happening. It's very confusing and very frustrating. So I think everyone would appreciate if the league and the officials could just be more consistent with the calls that they make. And lastly, for the news section of this video, the Phoenix Suns and the Washington Wizards finally finalized the trade. As over the weekend, we did get reports that the Phoenix Suns had traded Trevor Ariza to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Kelly Oubre Jr. and Austin Rivers. But not too long after we got those reports, we got more reports out saying that the trade fell through, basically because it was a third team involved, Memphis Grizzlies, and they just weren't sure of who they were getting or what they were giving up. So the trade fell through, but then after that, the trade was right back on again, except the Suns and the Wizards just axed Memphis from the deal completely since they were being so confusing. So yes, Trevor Ariza is now a member of the Washington Wizards, and Kelly Oubre Jr. and Austin Rivers are now a part of the Phoenix Suns. As for the winner of this trade, well, we can't really say that right now, but over the next few months, all of that will for sure be revealed to us. Now though, let's take a quick look at some of the most notable performances that we had over the weekend. First one was LeBron James and Lonzo Ball becoming the first pair of teammates in a while to record a triple-double in the same game, when the Lakers managed to defeat the Hornets on Saturday night. Lonzo Ball had 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, while LeBron James tallied 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. And after the game, LeBron James went on to say that he feels he and Lonzo Ball are the same type of player. In regards, they both do a little bit of everything to try and help the team win, as well as their playmaking ability, and how they're always looking to put their teammates in a position to score the ball. And the next notable performance comes to us from last night, as John Wall joined Gilbert Arenas as the only other Washington Wizards player to log multiple games with at least 40 points and 10 assists, as Wall had an outstanding game last night, and the Wizards 128-110 win over the Lakers with 40 points and 14 assists. And next up, this one isn't a notable performance or game in and of itself, but more so a very notable moment, and it comes to us from Steven Adams, as when the OKC Thunder were taking on the Denver Nuggets over the weekend for the battle of who is the best team in the Western Conference as of right now. This happened. Steven Adams gave up a wide open dunk to make sure that Nuggets center Miles Plumlee didn't hurt himself on a potentially nasty fall.
You know, almost like a gymnast on that play, but Adams stays down.
Steven Adams deserves some type of an award for that, valuing the potential career of another player over his own team scoring 2 points. And if I'm the Denver Nuggets and I'm inbounding the ball after it went out of bounds, I'm giving it right to Steven Adams and letting him collect those 2 points. And the last notable performance comes to us from Ben Simmons, who became the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double with more than 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 0 turnovers. As in the Sixers win over the Cavaliers last night, Simmons logged 22 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds with, of course, 0 turnovers. Impressive. And that's gonna do it for everything that we gotta talk about today. Here's a look at all of the scores from last night, as well as the current standings in the NBA. Let me know how your favorite team is doing down in the comment section below. Hopefully my Pistons can get the ball rolling again after defeating the Boston Celtics over the weekend. And also, I do want to say that I really appreciate all of the feedback that you guys give me as I continue to try and make this the best possible source for you guys to stay up to date with everything that goes on in the NBA on a daily basis. Channel is evolving, is going to continue to evolve, and try and get better and better better and better. It might take a step back from time to time, but in the end, it's all an effort to make this the best possible experience for everyone that watches. That being said though, thank you once again for watching. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until tomorrow, I am out of here. Peace!